Welcome to our series on innovation in education. Today, we delve into the fascinating world of AI tutors and their impact on business school education.
Why should business schools really look at introducing AI or accelerating the use of AI in classrooms?
Um, AI has seen a significant amount of development, especially over the last few years or so. And now AI is at a point in which it can actually act as a tutor for many students. So it has this ability of enhancing student learning experience in ways that we couldn't have imagined even a couple of years back.
AI's potential to significantly enhance student learning experiences makes it a valuable addition to modern education. Students today process information differently.
Do you think using AI in classroom takes away the ability for students to think critically? Is it damaging them?
I think it's a double-edged sword for sure. Some of the skills of simply being patient and looking for the punchline after wading through about 3 or 4 pages will probably go away, and maybe that's a valuable skill to have. Patience, as they say, is obviously a virtue. So, in some ways, exposure to technology could be beneficial from that perspective.
AI in the classroom encourages students to ask questions, fostering critical thinking and deeper learning.
What was the genesis behind this idea of a flipped classroom with an AI tutor? What did you really want to achieve with this?
There is this idea of learning that simply comes from asking questions. So I thought, why don't we flip this logic? The idea of learning by questioning, and the idea of, why don't we flip the classroom itself to have the students ask questions, let's say to a bot, so that they can learn from them, was essentially the genesis of what I was trying to achieve.
This approach places students in the role of managers in an unfamiliar domain, encouraging them to learn through inquiry.
So, when you got feedback from the students after the course was over and you got two sets of feedbacks from two different locations, was there anything that stood out for you? Think something that you hadn't thought, maybe one or two things that stood out saying, okay, I did this, but I didn't know that this kind of feedback would come or this kind of response would come?
So I wouldn't say that this feedback was unexpected, but it was probably disproportionate to what I might have expected. Right. So the class, in some ways, the cohort was divided in terms of students who felt that AI essentially augmented their intelligence as opposed to AI replacing their intelligence itself. Then the other set who felt like, okay, look, are you making me dumb? Are you replacing traditional learning material?
The experiment revealed that students who embraced the AI tutor's capabilities performed better and engaged more deeply with the material.
What was the most challenging part of designing a course with an AI tutor?
So with this AI tutor, given that these questions had to be planted upfront, I had to really think hard about how I would do it. So I had to plan in my head and write down how I would teach a particular session, even prior to entering the classroom. And I had to spend a significant amount of time trying to do that because I had to sync up the responses with how I would teach the case in the classroom as well, right? So there had to be a lot of these dry runs, in which I had to figure out the precise kinds of questions that might work, and then use those questions to construct a story that I would use in the classroom. And I had to spend a lot of time trying to do that.
Integrating AI in teaching involves reinventing traditional methods, but the outcomes can be highly rewarding.
Why would you think, or why would you say faculty in general or teachers in general should be more interested in innovating nowadays than maybe 10 years ago?
There's not a single industry that's not been impacted by the advent of AI either. So it's only a matter of time before students start to demand it from the faculty themselves and asking them to cater to them in ways that they are familiar with. So whether the instructors want to use technology or not, the students are actually exposed to these technologies. And hence it becomes imperative for us to be able to present information to them in ways that they can parse and think critically with. So this simply means that instructors will also have to naturally think about imbibing these technologies. And eventually there'll be a demand side pull asking the instructors to incorporate these technologies in their classrooms.
Modern students are tech savvy and require teaching methods that match their familiarity with technology.
Is teaching with technology tools just a fad?
It's hard to tell. It's very difficult to answer whether it's a fad or whether it's something that would enhance their learning experiences. Over time, I suppose we will figure that out.
AI and other technologies can be adapted to various subjects, enhancing both theoretical and practical learning.
Almost 150 students underwent this with you. Was there any one or two things that sort of stay with you, and when you go to teach the next 150, you'll make those changes? Anything that stood out?
So the great thing about the experiment that we did was that it provides lots of avenues for continuous learning. So that is something, in fact, that's something that I didn't even thought of even when we were trying to design the experiment. But after exposed the experiment, we were now able to figure out that there was wide variation in the prompts that worked versus not.
There were quite a few courses where we had extensive pages of case studies to read upon, and I believe these AIs would have really helped there as well.
Reading a 300-page course outline, seeing at that only we feel that this course is going to be hectic. Now, if we have some help with AI and which can summarize it, that will be like half work done.
If this was just a generic ChatGPT, I wouldn't have trusted it.
So at least we can straight away, if I take 10 hours to read all those documents, now it comes down to maybe a couple of hours, I would say 3 hours maybe. So it's like straight away 70% is cut down from the time point of view.
I have the confidence that I can sleep peacefully going back home because I've covered all the cases.
Continuous improvement and adaptation are key to successfully integrating AI into education. Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for more insights into the future of education.